Welcome, everyone, to Watercooler Wisdom, where we are so excited to bring you one expert and one question in just about 10 minutes. For those of you who don't know me, I am Dana Zellers. I work with those busy professionals and busy teams because guess what? Your companies are going to want more and more. And we don't want to spend so many hours. So I work with people to figure out how to be the most effective with their time so that we can be successful because more hours is the enemy of more impact. And I am so excited for my guest today. Jacob, will you introduce yourself for folks who might not know you?
Yeah, so my name is Jacob Stone. I am a head of talent acquisition. So I help with the people operations and talent operations of the recruiting process. So everything from setting up job descriptions to the interview processes, the KPIs behind those, and then help with onboarding as well as other fractional HR services.
I love it. So important because we're going to talk a little today because getting the right people in those roles is just so important. We know what a bad fit looks like, both in the job and with retention. So I think a lot of that starts with the job description. What are some things that we are not paying attention to that we should be when we're crafting those job descriptions?
Sure. So the very first problem or things that I see consistently is
Mhm.
everyone goes, they Google whatever the job is, they copy and paste, and that's what their job description is. There's nothing tailored to their company or what they want the
Mhm.
outcome to be or anything like that. You're already set up for, I don't want to say failure, but you're going to have a hard time. Um, Really, the way I always try to view these things is a job description is kind of like I don't know, like a dating profile, if you
Yeah.
will. Like you don't want to be too vague or unrealistic or full of red flags. Otherwise, like no one's gonna swipe right. You know what I mean? You're just not gonna, no one's gonna like your profile.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
want you want to keep the integrity of what the job entails. You want to put what types of impacts that this role is going to have,
Mhm.
and then more so than the hard skills, what I like call hard skills. So if what technologies you need to have, or
Yeah.
how many years of experience X, Y, and Z needs to be in. What's also probably even more important are what are those soft skills that you're looking for.
Mhm.
The most successful candidates, the ones that are most likely to have the greatest impact or stay for the long term, are the ones that are going to be looking for a positive culture. And do they fit within whatever vibe that your organization
Mhm.
has? Those are going to be the ones that perform the best, that stay the longest, and that ultimately are going to help you achieve whatever your goals are, in the short and long term.
Yeah, I agree with you. Culture is such an important fit for those things. And I think where a lot of people get stuck is how do we describe culture? How do we convey really what it is in that space that is going to make somebody the right fit and really thrive?
Sure. And one thing and to that is when you put your job description together, you should have like a 30, 60, 90 day of this is what this looks like.
Got
So
it.
within the first month, 2 months, 3 months, this is how or you can extend that out
Yeah.
for however long. These are the benchmarks for the first year, whatever that is. But it shows the candidates that are applying to these places
Mhm.
that they know what they're getting themselves into.
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, I think I am familiar with Salesforce, I can do that, and I'm familiar with, Twilio, and I can do that. A lot of that stuff is trainable, but
Yeah.
it's what is the outcome that we're looking for, and we want candidates that show that level of competency and drive to join our companies.
Yeah. No, so important. I think again, when you talk a little bit about like some of those hard skills are trainable. I think that sometimes people find that the job description is like a wish list of the unicorn.
Yes.
So like how do you balance that? Like, yeah, I would love all these things, but like here are the things that really matter when we're looking for things because I don't want to turn people away, but I also kind of want to put it all out there.
Sure. And to your point too is, you're going to get bombarded with resumes just because of the market that we're in. You're like,
Yeah.
if you post something, you're going to get 100 resumes. So how
Yeah.
do you like sift those out? Um, and first and foremost, when you're crafting a job description, just get that purple squirrel unicorn centaur candidate out of here. They're the exception, not the rule. It's not going to happen. And that's okay. Um, so the biggest thing that I think, again, that you want to do when you're
Mhm.
crafting these is, it's looking for the soft skills, the culture. We want people that are trainable. We want
Yeah.
people that they can work autonomously, but also within a collaborative environment. So they don't need, a lot of hand holding, but they're also not afraid to ask for help or give their ideas. So when you're crafting these job descriptions and thinking about what is this role going to entail, it's really important that you use certain verbiage,
Mhm.
um, to really portray this is the type of person that we want. And these are the goals and the impact that we see happening within the first year of employment or the first 6 months or
Mhm.
whatever that is. That'll help filter a lot of that out.
Yeah. So for applicants, just to give them a little insight into kind of how that looks, we hear so much about people are using AI, we're grabbing the
Mhm.
job description, we're plopping it in, we're pulling out our resume. So are there any kind of gotchas or things that people should be looking out to make them really stand out when they are trying to kind of match on that job description?
That is why I do what I do, is because there is such a disconnect between, the hiring process and the candidate
Yeah.
and vice versa. And I tell both candidates and my clients alike is that you are going to have to interact with a human being. Like, you're
Mhm.
just going to have to. There's no way around it. AI is a good tool to help give you like a guideline or what have you, a benchmark, but you are going to have to get your hands dirty and really figure out what is it that I want. And on the candidate side, you're going to have to look for whatever the keywords are.
Mhm.
So if you're a project manager utilizing certain technologies or whatever, you need certain certifications. It's best to use in those job descriptions, like you go to the job description, find what those buzzwords are. And they
Yeah.
stick out like sore thumbs. You know exactly, if you're applying, you know exactly what those are. And make sure that on your resume, those buzzwords show up a bunch of times, because they're going to run it through an applicant tracking system, and
Mhm.
those are what's going to hit. And they're going to say, okay, this is a 70% match or a 50% match or whatever. So you want that to at least help you filter out, you know, so you can at least get the conversation started.
Yeah. So it's important to do some customization when you are looking for those individual applications to get past the digital phase into the human to human, it sounds like.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah. And so as we're sort of kind of coming through, I've got my job description, I'm explaining my culture, I'm listing kind of where we're going in this role, what the things we're looking for. Are there any other mistakes or things that we should have in mind as we're pulling together this application, this description?
Yes. And one of the biggest ones that when I consult with people, that is, don't don't try to like shoot yourself in the foot with putting unnecessary degrees or certifications in there. You know, I know there's a lot of good candidates out there that maybe they don't have a college degree, but they have 20 years of
Yeah.
experience. And then, they're like, well, they don't have a college degree, so they're automatically disqualified. Okay, but I understand if you're looking for like a mid or entry level and there's a certain whatever that
Yeah.
is, but experience in this market anyway doesn't necessarily trump education, but it holds a lot of weight. So I would say the unnecessary degrees, certifications, be careful posting those. Also, arbitrary years of experience. We need at least, I have this conversation on too. We need at least 10 years of experience, developing in C sharp. This candidate only has 8,
Right.
disqualified.
Yeah.
That doesn't, the guy can simply lie and just, move the date over and you wouldn't know the difference. What we're looking for is, um, the expert level, or are they coachable, like I said, or what's
Yeah.
the skill level? Are they competent? Are they forward thinking? Do they fit within whatever culture, not just personality wise, but also work ethics and all that kind of stuff. That's the stuff that we're looking for. So the arbitrary years of experience and certain dates and all that kind of stuff, meh. And I also know that dates worked. There's a big contracting thing right now. So a lot of people go, oh, this guy's a job, he jumps jobs.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily true. Sometimes they're just contractors. And too often than not, they're looking for a direct hire or a permanent placement role, but
Yeah.
they've siloed themselves because of the job hopping thing. Now all they can do is contract. And there's so many good employees and good people that would love nothing better than to stay with a company and grow with them. So I would overlook that. I wouldn't. It's something you need to take into consideration
Yeah.
because that's a cultural thing. But I wouldn't disqualify
But
someone
get to
just
the
because
point
of
where
that.
you're having a conversation with people at that point and really getting a sense, is what I'm hearing from you. So, yeah, we've got
Correct.
some numbers. We want you to check some boxes. But some of these things, again, it's information. And then how do we take it to the next level?
Yep. Yep.
I love it. I love it. Well, if people are looking for some help on this process in finding those great candidates, what is the best way to get a hold of you?
You can either shoot me an email at jacobstone@worktap, WORQTAP, right there, worktap.com, or you can go to www.worktap.com, or you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. I respond to all messages and connections. I'm a super connector, love networking and talking about anything to anyone about at any time.
I love it. We could talk about this and other topics for hours, but definitely I encourage people to follow you. This QR code is going to get you to worktap.com, so you can follow up with Jacob. And again, great LinkedIn follow. Make sure you connect. Jacob, thank you so much for joining me today.
I appreciate you
This has
having me.
been very informative. And if you are looking to hear from other experts like Jacob, please stay tuned and give me a follow for more water cooler wisdoms.